Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast. I did it anyways, Board Gamer, just for you, because I had it stuck in my head.
I knew he fucked up.
Another episode of Redacted. Hope everybody is doing well. We have some things to talk about this week. We have the monthly report. We have the weekly report. We have the Cutlass Gate, which is another thing happening as well. But before we get into that, Board Gamer, what have you been up to this week?
So I've been playing loads of... Hello, everyone, by the way. I've been playing loads of StarCraft Legacy of the Void. Just completed the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, it's... I love StarCraft. I love StarCraft 2. And getting to play that campaign is pretty awesome. Really, really loved that. Lots of Fallout 4 as well I've been playing.
Right.
Did a review of it the other day.
Yep.
With my good friend Buggerton, who's going to be doing lots of Star Citizen content with me in the not too distant future. But it was quite a critical review of Fallout 4. I'm playing it and enjoying it, but it doesn't really bring for me too much more to the table.
Right.
But if you want to see my critical review, please go to my channel and have a look at it, because some people are pretty angry, which was lovely. Obviously playing lots of Star Citizen still, got loads more stability with 1.3 now, with those custom user.cfgs. I think a lot of people have been reporting that they're actually able to play now, which is really...
It made it unplayable for me too, which was funny. I must have done something wrong.
You've never had joy with the user.cfgs, have you? It's always backfired on you.
It always backfired on me.
I'm going to say
weird.
that the user CFG didn't seem to be working with the motion blur for me. Although I haven't had any crashes since I've used it, but when I put the R_motion blur 0 in it, I still have to do it manually. So
really?
It worked for me.
Yeah.
Motion blur worked for me as well.
But my frames per second were like 15, and the planet on Dying Star was just, or Broken Moon was just flashing.
Just
and I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna use this one. So.
I did a big video on the monthly report. So I said big video. I changed my Sunday news show into the monthly report special. So anyone that wants to,
because that was the most relevant news, right?
Yeah. So anyone that wants to watch that without having to read through about an hour's worth of stuff, just go on that. It's a nice and short video. And other than that, something that excited Saurus and made Twerk fear his balls. Was that my friend Deathcore is just developed his new reality shocks, which I've talked about a long time ago. I think
when
the
we
first
had
time
you
I
on,
met you guys.
Yeah, when we had you as a guest.
Yeah. So these are little things that you put all over your body, and they electrocute you. Not horrible electrocution, a light electrocution, a fun,
that looks
fun.
fun. I'm watching the video right now. That looks real fun. Real fun.
It's pretty neat. So based on what damage you take,
did you say it's pretty
how much
neat?
Damage, it's pretty neat.
Nice.
How much damage you take,
I'm in.
what damage you take, where you take it, and it all works it out and electrocutes you accordingly. And he can write the software for pretty much any game, so it works with Source Engine games, Star Citizen, and some other bits and bobs as well. And so we're thinking that they're going to be quite popular, but we're getting them out to Saurus and Twerk as soon as we can, and then some other streamers. So you'll soon be able to electrocute them with certain commands on their streams. So that'll be joyful. But other than that,
See the joy on my face? Do you see the joy?
Yeah.
It's filled with joy.
They put them all over your face, Twerk.
Yeah.
Electrocution mask.
Electrocution mask. Just like make his face dance or something. You know?
Yeah.
Make it do a little jig.
What about you guys? What have you been up to?
Yeah, Twerk. What have you been up to?
So, I actually didn't even mention this to you guys.
Really?
Board was there, but I got my second T16000M, so I took the kind of broken one and put it in my left hand, and I took the
New one?
not so broken one, the new one, and put it in my right, and started with the stream. This was one of the most fun streams I had in a while. We did an unboxing.
Yeah.
And we did it on, so I pretended that I was a fucking silly unboxing YouTuber, and it was like it was like really funny, and just like we had a good time unboxing it and like talking about it, and we switched it to left on stream so people knew how to do that, and then we just sat there and we kind of went through all the keybinds on how to make it lefty, and then we went and used it, and it was like there was like 200 people watching, and it was like super fun and super interactive, and it was like awesome. If you go to like, I don't know, 1 hour 16 minutes or something like that in the video, you'll see like the unboxing and stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, and then like a little farther on, like maybe half an hour later, there's the
oh, there we go,
the dual sticks.
That's how desperate people are for 2.0. They're willing to watch you bind keys in the hope that it will make it come out quicker.
Yep.
Well, you can actually see like my donger, like you could see the lower part of my pants. So that's, I think, why everyone kind of stuck around, because it was a donger stream. How often do you stream dongers on Twitch?
You're making it classy, Turk.
Yeah, but no, like I think everyone was like, we had a really good time. That was a really fun stream, and then other than that, just played some Anno, and that was it. You know.
I'm still reeling from the donger comment.
Yeah. So that was it. That's what I did.
So ridiculous, this guy. Yeah, for myself, I mean, I've been working on some of the website stuff, obviously still. Been playing some Star Citizen, been playing, because content for Star Citizen is sort of the same old stuff that we've been working on. I have been playing this game called Race to Sun, which is a game that I've played for quite a while. It's been out for a long time. It's just a little indie game. It's like a temple runner type thing where you sort of race the sun and you pick up little boosts and stuff like that, but your reaction times have to be on point for this game.
Yeah, I remember watching you play this game a long time ago. I was like, I can't handle this.
Yeah, it's like everybody... This is kind of weird to me because for me it's really relaxing and I could literally play this all day, but there is some like trolly stuff that it does, and there is some things that it's like I could see people just taking their monitor, walking up to their window, opening their window, holding their monitor out, and just letting it go. Because it's like, some of the mechanics in this game are just like unfair. And you see that I just smashed into that there. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. Obviously, doing some Star Citizen racing, getting used to the Cutlass, and all that fun stuff. But we do this thing every first Friday of the month for Moderator Appreciation Day. I play games. I got
involved with that a little bit.
And all of this other stuff. And what we do is all the donations that day go to my moderators. So I set a goal of $100 for the day to see if we can raise that. And I said, guys, look, I'll eat some warheads if we do this, right? Because they're super sour or whatever, because I like putting myself through pain. So I said at 50, I'd do 3 at a time, and that was pretty bad. So I said, if we do 100, I'll do 10 at a time. And it was pretty ridiculous. Like, I ended up drooling on my leg. I ended up, yeah, you can see my face. It's not a good time. there's the tongue. Yeah.
This will be the first time that I see it live and not in an
animated GIF format.
In GIF form, yeah.
So you see me drooling and stuff. If you guys really want to go see that, you can. But it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. But I mean, it was really fun. And I had a good time with it. I like subjecting myself to random crazy stuff like that before. I've done things with like ghost peppers, and I'm looking for somebody who can get me Carolina Reapers, because they're apparently twice as hot as ghost peppers and stuff like that.
What?
So
it sounds like you're trying to buy drugs. Yeah. What? I'm looking for someone that can get me them.
Yeah. Well, I can't just go and buy them at the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's not something that's just available. So if somebody knows where I can buy them online or whatever, shoot me a message. But yeah, so other than that, not really a whole lot. Just waiting for 2.0, really. Talking about 2.0, talking about the Cutlass posts and stuff like that. But going into and talking about the warheads and stuff, we might as well segue smooth segue into MVP for this month.
Yes.
This
Slide-
month's MVP
slide
is
back.
actually going to be two people. It's going to be both IDD and IDD KFA and Sunday of Doom. And let's pull this up so you guys can see. I did this. I said I would do it in front of a green screen as well. So Sunday of Doom went and made some GIFs and called them things and gave them little titles. So this one is Possessed. This one is WTFO Bees or WTFO Stink. This one is WTFO No or Ow. This is the Sour Face. There's Twerk saying, or Proxus saying it should be MVP. Yeah, and then there's me doing WTFO guitar without the
guitar's
guitar.
the most.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Then
It's really
there's
famous.
Not Face.
The guitar is amazing.
Mad. And then another one where I was like showing you guys my tongue because it really, really hurt. And then if we go down to IDDs, there it is there. So you can see I'm got a little bit of drool going on. This is my thing, and you just threw a guitar in there. But yeah, so pretty awesome, and congratulations to those guys. You are now going to be entered into the monthly raffle. So congratulations, and you guys will have the MVP title in your name. Yeah, pretty ridiculous overall.
Good work, guys. Good
Yeah,
work.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. But yeah. Yeah, so that's sort of what we've been up to. Going forward into actual news, we saw, like I said, we saw the monthly report, we saw the weekly report, and the Cutlass stuff. Obviously, we heard some news about 2.0 and stuff. We got a new patch, 2.4.1.
Yeah,
but,
I was like, ugh.
Yeah. So, who wants to take the reins here on the monthly report?
I'll start off. So, we kind of split it up in Santa Monica, Austin, UK, and then kind of other. And with Santa Monica, they're working on the item system in 2.0, which has less resource intensive and more efficient than the current system, which probably had something to do with, I would think, the FPS causing issues, right? Like the FPS module, like when that was happening. So also improvements have been made to the radar, especially the way it sees partially hidden objects, which hopefully that will help us with, again, that pesky little bug that we deal with when we're targeting somebody and it just kind of automatically loses it.
Yep.
Right? And then we have to gain it back while we're fighting someone, which is pretty difficult. Smart system has been created for rotational ranges of turret hardpoints. So I know, like, we've talked about this on the cast before. The turret's cool, but it seems
broken.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say this right now. And with the last point you made, while it is fixed for the majority of the time, it still happens. It's still you still will lose your targets when they're in plain sight and they're within distance, which is really frustrating. But with a turret, the turret sometimes doesn't move. Sometimes it does move. Sometimes it's fast. Sometimes it's super slow. But sometimes it'll just point over to the right, and it's there, and then it doesn't move. It just stays there. Yeah.
So hopefully this is all that stuff, because obviously you need the turrets working well, because that's like multi-crew, right? That's like a big part of it is the turrets functioning and everything being all awesome. With that, like, hey, get in the turret, we got NPCs, pirates here or whatever, so.
Yeah.
Now obviously they're implementing the new flight modes. We went a lot into that last week. And what else? They've been completing the 16:9 diegetic.
Shall I have changed the word so it was more pronounceable?
More
strings for multi-crew ships.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I finally got through that. But the
IFCS stuff is a big deal. I mean, I feel like we just
it's huge. Well, no, we glanced over it because we talked about it in detail last week.
But it's gonna bring a lot of changes into 2.0, and ships are going to handle completely differently. And I mean,
We're
as
gonna-
we're going to talk about later in the Cutlass thing, it's going to bring up things like, ships aren't going to be as maneuverable as we thought because it's impossible where the thrusters are placed, and
Yeah.
things like that. And
Well, they're gonna be viable targets in dogfighting. So you can take off a wing of an opponent and know that you've effectively beaten them.
Yep.
And stuff like that, and that's really important because in dogfighting you should be able to win in multiple different avenues, and not to know what your opponent's going for. Is he going for your shield generator? Is he just trying to damage your engines and get away or whatever? So having more avenues to damage people's potential to dogfight is a good, adds to combat, adds to the flavor.
Yeah. But yeah, like we'll talk more about that later, so I'm not going to talk about it. But them making the screens 16 by 9, we will talk about this a bit more. But I think that means so we can see them
externally,
full screen,
externally. As
So
well.
I think
full screen
This is a-
this
this is a lot to do with HUDs, isn't it?
Yes.
And stuff. So
yes. So I think they're preparing for like external on another monitor on a tablet.
Yeah,
things
I've been
like
looking
that,
at
which
like external touch
is pretty cool.
screens and like just little 7-inch touch screens that you can put around you, and you can just and feel like
that's
I'm
what I've been
in.
doing with Rocket Power Grid.
Yes.
I run
Yeah.
Rocket Power Grid on that, and I have to do lots of stuff on my ship.
Yes,
I think they're really useful.
looking for a really good deal on either a standalone touch screen. I've actually found that buying it, like looking at the cheaper tablets, is more inexpensive or less expensive than just buying a standalone screen. So
You can get them for like $50, can't you? Really cheap tablets, 7-inch ones.
yeah, tablets you can. But I would prefer not to have the extra stuff if I could get the screen on its own and just figure it out
Okay.
that way. I'd rather just do that, and that would make a fun little project. But
Yeah, moving on, we got Kanye's redesign in regards on how it will handle during flight. So I think they're making it a bit more maneuverable, which is nice.
I think there's a lot to do with repositioning the thrusters
the
as well.
thrusters
Because
Yeah.
obviously,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
it's that, but like I don't think maybe it wasn't as maneuverable as they wanted it to be, or as I don't know, but whatever.
The problem with that is that the Connie has to be able to fight the Retaliator in 2.0 alpha. And if just one torpedo comes along and you can't maneuver, you just go, well, the Retaliator's always going to win. So yeah, it has to be maneuverable enough to be able to avoid a torpedo.
And how I was looking at it, it not only has to be maneuverable enough to fight with these other ships, but what we discussed on stream a couple times was how do they avoid missiles? Like, I know the missile system is still sort of broken for what we have now, but if you look at where we are right now for missiles, you're more likely to avoid a missile if you avoid it with your ship than if you avoid it with countermeasures.
Countermeasures, yeah.
So how in the hell are these large ships going to avoid?
To be honest, they
know?
shouldn't really be able to avoid size 1 missiles because they're too agile.
Yeah.
And the ships aren't. I mean, those size 1 missiles, they're not going to do too much damage. Was it us that was talking about having shields just incredibly effective against missiles?
Yes.
I think
Well, there
I
are
believe
shields
so.
that are there's two different types of shields. There's direct damage shields
Splash
and
and
there's splash
deck, yeah.
damage. Yeah. And
so.
the missiles
Maybe in
do
the larger
more splash.
ships, you're gonna want splash shields. Maybe that's it. There's got to be ways. There's got to be ways around it, isn't there? Otherwise, you're just gonna get missile boated to death.
Yeah, I mean there has to be. So it was just something that like popped in my head, like how could this work, And then it was like, well, this is the only way.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is
We'll see.
they have to make it a bit more maneuverable, but yeah, I guess we'll see. What else? Working on salvage mechanic. I think that's really exciting. Salvage and mining are kind of being worked on, which is pretty friggin' neat.
Now
Pretty neat.
They also mentioned that the Crucible will be a salvage capable craft. And
Yes.
it's interesting because that's a repair ship, and when I think of salvage, I think of the Reclaimer.
Yeah.
Well, it's a relatively big ship, so it's going to be able to house. Was it a Hornet or 2 Hornets or something? At least one Hornet can fit
The
in its bay.
Crucible, one Hornet.
Yeah, so, I mean, it can just nom up a ship. Just go, there's a destroyed ship, nom.
Yeah.
That's salvage.
That's a good point. Yeah. And then I could salvage it that way. So that's cool. I like that they're thinking about that. I mean, that's the thing that they have to do to continue the money flowing in, is they have to come up with these like unique ways to, and at the same time, like there's not only one salvage ship, right? So now that I love the direction that they're going in, where there's all sorts of different ships that can do the same mechanic. So we're gonna see, like, I don't want to go to a salvage area if there ever is one, and just
Right.
see all reclaimers. I want to see variety. So
You're
if they
gonna see
keep doing that,
cutlasses.
yeah,
You are going
no,
to see cutlasses and stuff, and put things with anything with a tractor beam is going to be able to do a limited amount of salvage.
yes, but
That's
like
like saying you
the-
don't want to see everything but Orions in mining.
at mining, like, doesn't that concern you a little bit? At the release of game, at least, like maybe 6 months down the line, that everyone's kind of met their end game ship for each mechanic that they enjoy, and then when you go to the most populated areas of mining, let's say, it's just going to be all Orions or all
But it's not,
whatever
is it?
ship.
So those
I
popular
hope
areas
not.
Yeah.
are going to be, there's going to be lots of conflict there. There's going to be fights going on. There's going to be people driving each other off, and then you've got
NPCs.
your and then you're going to also have your crews. Your crews are going to make that ship more efficient. So there are going to be mini games, or there are going to be
Yes.
ways of mining the more dangerous stuff that gives you more profit. That is actually going to be relatively intense, and so there is going to be variety there, even if it's just between the crews and then people defending those ships.
Maybe I
But-
should phrase it differently then.
Hmm.
When you're explaining to someone that's interested in mining,
Yeah.
what they're in, like, all right, so you need this ship, at the beginning, and you work your way up to the Orion. Is that something that we even want to be able to say, or you work your way up to, well, if you can use the Orion, or you can use this, or you can use that, and it's whatever your preference is.
I do think some of the smaller miners, so you're going to have like a very small mining ship, are going to be really useful in. I'm sure there's going to be asteroid fields where the Orion can't get into properly.
Absolutely,
there's
and
gonna
that was
be
mentioned in the
amazing
doc.
resources. Yeah, there's going to
Yeah.
be amazing resources in there that only the smaller
Mhm.
miners can get. It'll be incredibly
that
dangerous.
will happen
Yeah,
for
So
sure.
I do think there will be variety, even with what we refer to as top tier, because those ships, although they're incredibly powerful and can generate lots of money, they're still not going to be able to do everything.
Yes. Okay.
I hope.
I want to see, like, even though like you're still going into like, okay, well, this is smaller, but like I want to see a similar sized ship for each mechanic. Like I know this, like, if this was to happen, this would be the game would release in 2020. You know what I mean? But like at some point, I hope that's the plan, is to be at the point where you're trying different. You don't have to choose that ship. You can choose whatever you want. Yeah, or at least a
I
multiple
specifically
choices.
think that they are trying to avoid top tier ships in class. Obviously, that's quite difficult to do when
Of course, there's always going to be the best. Right?
yeah. But so with this kind of ship where you're talking about multi-crew, it might not be the best if you don't have the crews to sustain it. So it
Good
might
point,
not
too.
be the best mining ship for you if you've only got 3 friends that want to mine with you. You might want to get
Yeah.
I don't know, the mining variant of
3
the carrot.
single
That
seater
doesn't
ships
exist.
might be better, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
do
that.
mining
Yes, yes.
instead of it might just be more efficient that way.
Or everyone gets starfarers because you make more money that way, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like that worry that you have to work, that there might not be enough variety and everyone's in their top tier ships. But I hope that it's not like that, and I don't see it like that either. But we have
Okay.
to see, won't we? I have to see.
Yeah, that's one of those things we'll have to see. But I just, that's one of those things that stresses me a little bit, because I do want to see variety. I would hate to see. Like, you know how it is in games, like every character is using the same build, the same weapon, the same, like I don't want to see that in Star
That's what
System.
my
And I don't
YouTube
think
channel
we're
is going to be
going
about.
to.
That's the problem. One of the things I want to do on my channel is talk about the meta and get people geared up to be the top in that
That is,
class.
it's the same thing for every MMO though. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
min-maxing, and people are gonna do that. Some people won't. Some people will all about the role play or whatever, or some people will be all about the lore or just exploring around and checking stuff out on their own. But a lot of people are gonna be min-maxing. I'm gonna be one of those people. You know?
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't matter, and there's no way that they're going to be able to prevent that.
I
You know?
wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to start the game in my top tier ship.
No.
If there's not a lot going on with mining, then I'd rather get rid of my Orion and work up to it. But I mean, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
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 It depends on what those running costs are, right? Off the bat, it depends on how much money you can be potentially making off the bat right away with that, right? If you can have that as something that, yeah, okay, you have your mining ship and that's what's providing your income, but maybe that's not your end goal. Maybe your end goal is something else, but you have that mining ship to provide it so you can continue doing your exploration stuff or doing your whatever, or you need to buy jump point documents from people, or you need to buy other information from other people, or pay for fuel and stuff like that. And so you have that ship that can help
Oh,
you
you're
with
getting me
that.
hyped for mechanics that don't even exist yet. Thanks,
Kid.
guys.
You're welcome.
Well, like I think you can say, well, especially for dogfighting or especially for even mining and stuff like that, if you want to do this, then you can have this. If you want to do it this way, then you can do that. And I think Star Citizen's going to be so complex that there's going to be multiple options for min-maxing. Right?
Possible. Well, you also have to remember there's going to be overclocking. There's going to be that for weapons, engines, shields, thrusters, right? Who knows what other components? Are you going to be able to overclock a tractor beam? Maybe, right? Are you going to be able to overclock like other things like that can give them more functionality? But maybe, who knows? Who knows? So we have to wait until those mechanics are kind of in. But until then, choo-choo.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm picked up by the hype train.
I was not expecting that to spawn that much conversation, but that's pretty awesome. But yeah, the next thing that we started talking about was the Reliant and GN Scout have also met milestones, which the GN Scout is in gray, and I think so is the Reliant. They're both in gray box.
Okay.
I think isn't Reliant going in white box at the moment? Do we have the?
Yeah, I thought it
No,
was-
the Reliant is in white box and is going to gray box because we see the white box.
Gray box.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah,
gray
yeah,
box.
yeah.
So what we're looking at is, if you're bringing it up
I'm
now, is
confused.
white box.
So
Okay,
I don't have the link.
it's fine.
Search for that man.
Um,
Google it, guys.
Yeah, we're on the same page right now.
Definitely on the
But
same
no,
page.
the fact that they're moving quickly is exciting. I think we've talked about this a decent amount, but I'm pretty pumped for the Reliant. I have one. I'm looking forward to seeing what variants they kind of show us in the future. So yeah. Then another thing that I think you and I, Source, I know, have been waiting and excited for since we've started talking about it is EMP and distortion combat mechanics.
I need to be able to shut down
Can't-
ships, man.
Right? Like, I can't wait to see that happen. I can't wait for it to happen to me and me be like, I can't, my ship's not moving. I can't do anything. Like, it's
stressing on channel. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, get your FPS action ready.
but it's, it's definitely something that I actually like am looking forward to. Can't wait to see.
Yeah, no, it's going to be something that's really cool. It's obviously something that is a mechanic I think a lot of people are looking forward to because you don't always necessarily want to destroy the ship. Sometimes you want to fluster the other person, right? Or you want to get them ready to board, or you want to make sure that they're not running away. And so you're like, hey, listen, this is while we're doing this, just a heads up, we're going to also make it so you can't move. So
Absolutely.
while we negotiate here. So like that kind of stuff is going to be, and for the opposite side too, not just for pirates, but for police forces, military forces, things like that. If they don't want to use lethal force, then to be able to stop and capture people, bounty hunters, it's going to be really important, right? Because if there's bounties out there where they're required alive, which I'm assuming there will be alive, dead or alive bounties, the alive bounties there will probably be a reason why they'll be wanted alive. So you'll have to be able to do that.
Hmm.
And so that will require boarding and getting on there and taking them out and stuff like that. So it is something really cool. I'm hoping we can see some things like EMP mines or things like that as well, that can sort of set things off maybe later on down the line, in the game. But yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Oh, I'm so pumped. So lots of functional animations have been finished, like thrusters and landing gear on the Connie and Reliant. So we saw the Connie kind of flying around, but I don't remember if we saw. I don't like off the top of my head. Did we see it come out?
It doesn't come out of the front. It only comes out of the back where the nacelles are, and it sort of folds down, and it's like little feet.
Yeah, like that's something that I just don't remember seeing. And then the writers have been busy working on the Massive Star Map 2, which I definitely think needs some writer love.
Yeah, getting more information
and then
in there is important.
it's just like, it's not just like more, yes, that's exactly what it is more information, but it'll give you more, like you can just lose yourself in the star map, right, for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool. So that's cool. Anyone want to start with the other offices?
Yeah, I can do Austin if you want. So, Austin have been focusing heavily at the moment now, anyway, on the PU 2.0 release and the social module. And
I think most studios are probably focused on that right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what they've
that
been
is
doing
like the PU office, you know.
So this is the monthly report from kind of like last month. So that they've been heavily focusing on 2.0 even then, and the new social module features. So they've been putting the finishing touches to the Million Mile High Club.
Yep.
Getting all that all passed through art and stuff, and doing the animations for the bartender and doorman, NPCs and that sort of stuff.
Which is going to be cool to go and check out. I'm really interested to see how they're going to make that sort of stand out among everything else.
Yeah.
Animations on NPCs would be good.
Yeah. But what if it's just chilling?
Yeah, well, it's a good addition to the social module, getting some animations, and then we can start populating it with NPCs, and that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The environment team is now reallocated resources to Nyx.
Yes.
Now,
Which is
pretty
sweet.
much they're able to do that because they finished a lot of the other stuff that they were supposed to have got done, which we'll see very soon. And they're working heavily now on the Kasaba Outlet clothing store. So this is going to be the first time that we get to shop in-game for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what that's going to take. Is that going to be with virtual currency or REC, or is that going to be with UEC? If that's going to be with real UEC, people are going to get in debt very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
If stuff's done in-game with in-game currency, it makes me buy more somehow, especially with like customization of character.
Yeah, but at the same time,
buy a new dress.
We're probably going to see wipes in the future, so I don't think it would be very smart of them to do it that way.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it takes. I mean, so if it's connected to your account, then anything you purchased from that would be like you purchased it from the website. But we'll see how they actually do that, because they kept on saying, do we get temporary UAC? Are we going to use REC? Is it going to be direct store purchases?
With that right now, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's whatever works the easiest without taking a long time is what they'll go with. So with that, we're going to have character customization and clothing assets, and Austin have been working a lot on that, or at least discussing it a lot, because that sort of stuff, they're trying to work out what to phase in first. And again, whatever's easiest and doesn't cause issues.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with
You'll
the
be able to
character
wear your
customization.
Arena Commander shirt in-game and in real life at the same time. And you
my
can
God.
role play to the maximum of your heart's content.
Oh my god, yeah. And a real ejection seat at home. I want an ejection seat, oh my god. So they're adding all those NPC kind of animations for the Subsumption update in the future. So they're getting all those ready at the moment. That's not something we're going to see in the near future, but in the future, in a few patches' time. Because they're also going to have the locomotion sets done for the female characters by then as well, and we'll see female characters, which will be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I've always wanted to be a female in space. I identify as a female space pilot, actually. I don't.
He's
I
cosmic
play a
Thunder.
female in H1Z1. Why wouldn't I play one in
That's a good point.
right?
Do you think
So
any-
they did do
Yeah.
they did do a lot of work on the 1.3 release as well. Obviously, all the stuff pre-Citizen Con, they were working really hard on the 1.3 release. So they've been doing stuff like increasing the player cap from 25 to 40 in the social module, and generally just improving performance there as well. They've done loads and loads of under the hood optimizations for the code, which we'll see in the future,
Yeah.
hopefully in 2.0. That should all be coming out. Their QA team has been working on all of the potential PTU release candidates for 2.0. So this is the releases that are having current issues. So when they were talking about having a slowdown and network issues when there was more than one player in, this is the release candidates for 2.0. They're probably not having ones with the what are they called, the other ones, the other release things.
We were just saying it before.
Someone will say in chat, but
Yeah.
the release
The other type
candidates
of
for
build.
these, they're having, as soon as they go over to the release builds, they're having problems for some reason. So they're currently working on that, and when they get a release build that is ready for 2.0 PTU, it will come straight out to us.
Yeah. There's
also,
something
Intel-
happening with the going from the dev to the public build, and they're not quite sure what it is, and yeah, it's just wonky.
Apparently, that's a relatively common issue, though. They'll have a perfect build or one that works really well internally, and then as soon as it goes to the release build, it just something goes wrong and they don't know why.
Profile and editor builds.
Profile. It was profile
builds.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
So Intel also bought them an SSD prototype server thing to make stuff run really fast. So they've been testing that out in Austin, and so they might be using the new Intel prototype server technologies.
Well, Austin's turning into their mainframe for servers and the tech end of things, like the actual physical tech end of things, and all of that stuff. So it sort of makes sense that they'll be trying those things out there first before they deploy those out in other areas or whatever it is that they want to do with those.
Yeah. And then DevOps for Austin have also been trying to make data get to us more efficiently. So when we download Star Citizen and that sort of stuff, it should hopefully download faster. Is the idea in the future.
Yay!
I mean, I've had to, every time they update a PTU, I've had to re-download the entirety of Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Which
I've
is
had
just
to as
bullcrap.
Well, that was the
it
whole
should-
point
it
of
should-
the launcher. The whole point of the launcher was to say that we don't need to do that. And then apparently, what was it, like a month ago or something? They said, oh yeah, we're not going to be able to do this unless we change the way that we make the builds, and it's just going to be a lot more work than it's worth and whatever. So you're still going to have to download these giant patches. But they did release 2.4.1, the patcher, the other day, and that's going to there were some issues with the peer-to-peer stuff affecting the 16 megabit download, and then the hyperspeed one, I believe, as well. So that shouldn't affect that anymore, which is nice. We should see maximum download capacities with that without it trying to go through the peer-to-peer, even when the peer-to-peer is disabled. Also, when you have the settings, once you've changed any settings, not only will it save when you click apply, but if you just close out of that, right, it'll also save those settings to whatever you set them to. So for whatever reason, if the apply button isn't working or whatever, it's still going to save those settings. You can go in and change those. So very straightforward, very, very awesome. And then there's a bunch of other minor things in there that it did as well. Like before it said it was a staff build. Now it won't say, and just some other stuff like that. But I'm hoping that with whenever PTU 2.0 decides to show its face, that it isn't going to be a full 24-hour download for me again. It may be, but to give you an example, I downloaded Fallout 4 last night. That was about roughly the same size as Star Citizen, and it took me an hour and a half. Right, whereas doing these full downloads are taking me 12 plus hours for CIG. So, or I think it was even less than an hour and a half. I think it might have been an hour. So it's important that they get the launcher up and running properly and everything. and so that's why they put that out. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a patch shortly thereafter, because usually that means, like, the whole point of the launcher is to download stuff, right? So I figured, okay, so this must mean that they're prepping for 2.0 or whatever.
It could mean that.
And we'll talk about more of that later on at the end of the episode. But moving on into Foundry 42 UK, a lot of work has been done for CitizenCon, but now they're working diligently to get Crusader to us, right? So that's obviously, once again, the Persistent Universe 2.0. So the initial in the initial build, quantum fuel and rearming is going to be free. But once the rec system comes online for it, or whatever system they plan on using for their currency, then we'll have to think about travel costs for quantum fuel. We'll have to think about repair. We'll have to think about restocking and rearming and things like that. And that's going to be cool, because right now, for example, in Arena Commander, you can just fire all your missiles, you die, you respawn, it doesn't cost anything, you run out of bullets. You just go and respawn and you get everything back automatically, and that's fine for an Arena Commander. But
I do
for
hope
the Persistent Universe,
I do hope they do that with rec to start with now, because that will make rec valuable.
yeah.
For people
That'd
that
make
just
it
wanna,
very valuable. Yeah.
And maybe
It's
to
a
great
give me a
idea.
reason to my giant stockpile. I sent out a tweet to both Sandy and Lando, and I didn't really get a response about the community chest. And I attached a screenshot of over 1 million rec that's sitting in my in my coffers for rec. So it's like,
it will certainly generate hype to the community chest stuff,
Yeah.
because there'll be loads of people competing to get more rec than anyone
Yeah.
else in that community chest. And yeah, I really like the idea of it, and I'm not sure why they're not doing it. It's going to generate as much hype as the referral system did.
yeah, I don't
for
know.
me.
I don't know
Probably
why.
because of the referral system and all the star map, and because that has to be web tied, right? And there's
Yeah.
probably so many things that they have to tie
web
with the
time.
website right now that they're just like,
Yeah,
it had to
okay.
sit on the back burner.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to see. I was hoping I would get an answer like, oh, we're going to look into it, or we're not looking into it yet, or it's been pushed back. Nothing. So, but speaking of the rec stuff, it is cool that they may be using that in the Persistent Universe to do this kind of stuff. And I think it kind of makes sense for the time being, and they can always switch that over later on as they need to do that. There are going to be several starter missions that are dotted around the map, and a specific FPS combat location.
Wait.
I think that specific FPS combat location is going to be that one space station that we've seen before.
Yeah,
where
the
people-
QA
What was
guys
the
shoot each
station
other.
that they said was that they had the fight at, right?
Yeah.
Or do we think it's going to be the scary one with the light, with the flashlight?
That
I
could
don't
have
think
been both
so.
been the same place, for all we know.
Yeah, it could
I
be
don't-
the same place.
Were they both Kovalex?
No.
I don't think so.
I mean,
like,
you can
I'm not sure.
FPS fight.
Could be.
You can FPS fight anywhere. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the one that we've seen in the
I think
CitizenCon
the only
demo.
place where you can get those weapons are
Yeah,
from that place,
yeah,
so
that's
you'd
what-
have to go there to get weapons first, and then
Then
and
go
troll
somewhere
people
else.
everywhere else. Yeah.
I mean, you can
I
stealth
think
around
people
with
are
a
going to
pistol.
be like camping those weapons. We're going to be. I have a feeling we're going to be like, damn campers.
No, I think we're going to have damn spaceships. The first thing people are going to try and do is try and drive like M50s or Merlins into the station where they know it's supposed to be FPS only. So people are going to be trying to get in all the time. So
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see the little meta games that emerge out of the PU for sure. But the starter missions, we're gonna see things probably like bring this to this location, or bring this file. So you may not actually have to have a cargo ship to bring it, or like whatever, or pirate missions. Defeat the pirates and rescue the princess. That kind of stuff. They also talk about AI progress and an asteroid base to tackle in the future. So that's going to be interesting. I know AI progress is important, and we talked a little about this earlier, seeing them moving around in the universe and making it feel alive, making it feel like there's things actually happening and going on.
That's like essential for me.
Yeah.
For
For
I can't
all
wait
of
for
Twerk's
that.
role-playing needs. Animation and QA are now getting 2.0
Looking
as
around.
shipshape as possible. I honestly believe it is a matter of any day now. It could release during the podcast. It could release next week. But I do think it's one of those things, and we're just waiting. I just wish they would share what happened in those morning meetings. a little more.
Yeah.
Right? If it's like, okay, it's not today, then we all know I don't need to worry about checking my email or everything every hour. But they don't really. Yeah, I know they're busy.
They're not worried about you and your email.
Lots of CPU optimizations have been made, which is good, especially for when we get into these bigger maps and there's a lot more stuff, right? If you look at games like Arma or DayZ and stuff like that, they're large maps that have a lot of things going on, and those are more CPU intensive games. So it's cool to see that they're making some optimizations for CPU stuff going into the large world map. They're also looking at improving the Retaliator's damage so you can split it into two. And this is interesting because they've talked about how they want you to be able to split some ships into different parts and still have them sort of pseudo-functioning on their own while they're split and be able to do things and whatever. So it's cool that the Retaliator, it sounds like it's just going to snap in half and be into two pieces, where the Connie will, break into 4 different pieces and stuff like that. The ship damage and ambient effects continue to be polished, and they continue doing work on the explosions and different ambient effects and stuff like that. Ship team has been growing, which is good, and they're working on the interior of the Starfarer right now. So we've seen some pictures of that with the
Yeah, it was
the
like all
bridge.
concept, but now I think we're seeing they're actually doing it,
Yeah, it seems like a fairly big ship on the inside. I think it got a
Can't
little bit
wait.
bigger, right? Can't wait.
I think they it was one of those things that they said like you'll be really happy when you get the Starfarer, like one of those like with the Idris. Like you got a lot more than you were supposed to get originally.
Yeah.
So kind of
No,
pumped about that.
that's definitely cool. The Vanguard is setting up to be hangar ready soon. So that's going to be
Oh
cool
my
to
God.
see the Vanguard in the
Vanguard.
hangar. Yeah. Why did you just... I know the
It's
Vanguard
like-
has those 2 round things on the front, but why did you squeeze them?
It's got what I do in my hangar is my own business. Okay,
I guess.
don't you be judging me, Saurus.
Yes.
Don't you be judging what I
This
do with
guy.
my Vanguard.
Shipsist. So shipsist. Anyways, the freelancer interior and exterior is taking shape, but it is still early days on that. We know they're working on that. They're making it a little bit bigger as well, to get it in line with what its role is in the game. The Saber is being gray box,
Me freelancer.
so it's past the white box stage, and they're putting the details into it now. They did say that this ship was going to be one of the ones that is going to be faster from concept to in the hangar. So it's pretty exciting to see that this is already being gray box right now as we speak. The prop team is focusing on 2 major areas, both the ship components, right? So the different components and how they fit into the ships and how they become universal and stuff like that, and the shopping experience. So it's 2 sort of different things, but 2 very interesting parts of the game. They're paving the way for ship customization and performance in the future, and the first couple ship components will be completed soon. And what those are going to be, whether those are engines or shields or whatever it is, we're going to start to see that soon. I know with
Got to be shields and power, surely, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, looking at, for example, the Herald, which we know is going to be hangar ready soon, if not flight ready as well. You'll actually see the components in your ship, sort of in like a server stack sort of configuration. So it is important that they have those things done, so it's not a red replace me texture sitting in there. And then the environment art team has been optimizing and making sure that 2.0 that we saw at CitizenCon was as good as possible, and they're obviously eager to get 2.0 in our hands, and this is sort of old news there. Foundry 42 in Germany is also working on Mark Hamill's character. His first scene has actually begun for Squadron 42.
That's
which is cool.
exciting.
So
Super exciting.
hopefully we see a little more detail put into it than we did in the speech.
They're also at Foundry 42 DE. They're experimenting with building space station-ish structures in space.
Right.
So they're trying to combine multiple environments and multiple like building platforms together to enable them to make high quality areas quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
And just practicing with that, I think.
Yeah, no, that's definitely cool because that's something we're going to be seeing just as much, if not more, than the actual landing zones.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right? Like, it's a lot easier to say, oh, hey, this is a space station that's fully explorable in space, than to say, oh, there's 4 landing zones on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a good point.
we even looking at the star map now, if you look at the Crusader area, you see the amount of different space stations and stuff. And while there's variety now, even if there's only the 7 different types and they're all the same, people are going to get sick of seeing the same 7 different types, and they're going to memorize them and whatever. So it will be kind of cool if they can sort of change those up and have them in a more modular fashion. Where it's like, oh, you know, this space station is similar to the one by Terra, but it's not the exact same layout. So I don't know if there's a right or left turn after this. So I don't know if I can get ambushed this way or whatever.
I think with the landing zones, even I think they're building different like biome sets and different building sets for all of them, so that with future planets they can go, well, this one's like ArcCorp. And then they'll make it similar to the ArcCorp one, and they've got all the assets already done. So they just like reassemble them in a different way for an ArcCorp-y type planet.
I can't. Like, you can see, if you see the Microtech assets, they're the exact same as the ArcCorp. They're just recolored, right? So like the big buildings, they're the same. So that's how they're kind of going about making it quicker, but. Like,
I do think some of them are going to be heavily different. I think there's going to be
there's going to be unique things to each place, but that kind of background, like they're going to, especially in the Stanton system, maybe it was all the same architect. You know, they can put something in the lore with that to make it okay.
I think we'll see a lot of diversity, even on different planets.
Well, I mean, we already see for one system, we're already seeing a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
Right? Coming into 2.0 to what they've shown. Every space station and comlink array seems to be different. I can understand comlink arrays being exactly the same. You know, it's like telephone towers. They're all exactly
having
the
a
same.
couple different ones or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they would be the same. Only if they were built at the same time. You know how like things are built in the world currently that do the same purpose. Okay, internet hubs. Every year they look totally fucking different. Yeah. They do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. But if you look at things like a cell phone tower, they've looked the same since they were there. It's a metal tower. It looks the same. It's all it's all just metal and little drums on it.
I think that's just a little bit tower racist. They all look the same, do they, Saurus? No, they look vastly different. You were just looking at them with those evil eyes of yours.
You know what?
Cold, dead eyes.
That's how it is, you know? That's how I was raised. That's how my mama raised me. Behavior, character customization, and stores for new locations. So stores maybe new locations like Nyx and the landing zones there. They're setting up some amazing vistas in a new asteroid or asteroid field that we're going to be able to explore soon. So we may see, once again, Nyx. It sounds like Behavior is working on some of the Nyx stuff.
I think it might be a giant asteroid that we can.
Or it could be the asteroid field that's in 2.0.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's I think it might be a single asteroid.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's a possibility.
I think it's the asteroid base. I think it's an asteroid base.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Final art pass on a very special club. I wonder what special club that could be.
Yeah, like, why are they being all fucking secretive when it's like everybody knows what it is?
I don't know. Maybe it's that communication within studios. They don't know yet.
That's true.
And will be added to the elevator soon. So the special club sounds like you're going to have to go there via elevator, and it's not on a specific planet. You know what would be cool if the Million Mile High Club, and this actually just makes sense, if it is a orbiting space station. It's a Million Mile High Club. Right? It's not a planet-side location. It's a space location.
Well, could they have a space elevator?
It could be an asteroid. It could be, the Million Mile High Club could be a floating asteroid.
Oh, man.
That has the Million Mile High Club inside of it. I just thought of that right now. Because maybe that's why they're like the new locations and the very special club and everything. Right?
Maybe.
And they're doing both that stuff the elevator and this asteroid? Maybe.
They
Interesting.
keep generating hype from.
Good.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Cue Thomas the Tank Engine theme song.
Thomas the Tank Engine. Wow.
And then moving on into the weekly report. Who wants to cover that?
I'll grab it since we've kind of gone in
Whoa,
order.
whoa! I mean,
You want to talk about it?
Well, let's talk very quickly about BVR, Moon Collider, and Turbulent. Just very quickly.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
we should put those in there.
BVR, obviously, behavior. We did say, but they did the final art pass and the very special club, and they did all the the first iteration of the loadout selector in the hangar and all that sort of stuff, and the new chat features. That's all theirs that they got done.
Props for the loadout selector. It looks like it's going to be pretty nice.
But so their job looks like that they're doing things for the scoreboard for Star Marine and those loadout screens and stuff that are going to be in Star Marine, but also we saw in the hangar, that sort of stuff. That's all behavior. That's what they're doing. Moon Collider. So Moon Collider have actually been doing some awesome stuff. They have been improving AI. So you know that randomly the AI at the moment in Vandal Swarm, for example, will crash into an asteroid if you trick it. So now the AI will make a conscious decision, or an AI decision, if an object flies in front of them, whether to plow through it, if they think they can knock past it, hit through it without it killing them, or try and avoid it. So that will hopefully allow them to fly closer to objects and be more clever, working out if they've got time to get away, if they've got time to avoid, and if you launch a missile at them, they're not just trying to avoid into an asteroid. Right. So
why does this excite you? I mean, Battlestar Galactica is like happening in front of your eyes. Cylons are real.
They are very much real, as we see. But also they've been doing the Death Flourish stuff. So the ships that are going to spin out of control, and do silly
called
stuff.
Death Blossom, by the way, not Death Flourish. What the fuck is Death Flourish?
Death Blossom. Okay, yeah, let's go for a Death
Get your
Blossom.
Starfighter references proper.
Yeah.
God, come on
So,
this
yeah,
podcast and start talking out of your ass. What is this?
There is an issue with that, is that when a ship is fatally damaged, can you still damage it more? Who's going to get the kill shot on it? If it's still flying out of control and then it hits an asteroid, they need to work out mechanics for you getting the kill in Arena Commander, but also do you have time to eject and stuff, mechanics in the universe. So it is actually quite important. Also, they've been doing like takeoff and landing systems, and refactoring the landing systems for everything. So at landing it, the offshoot of this is that landing areas should be a lot easier to set up, which means they can build maps faster, which means we get content faster, which is good for
everything. Yeah,
content is king.
Content is king.
And I think Turbulent haven't really done anything new. Everything will be old news there, but like they did the Arc Star map, they did the referral system, they did the Squadron 42 landing page. So great work from Turbulent, but I'm not sure
it
what
wasn't
they're doing now.
Like newsworthy for the monthly report.
No, I mean, they was just updating us on what they did do, but I'm not sure what Turbulent are actually doing now. Does anyone know?
Maybe it's secret.
Ooh. Super secret.
Secret stuff. That would be my guess.
Maybe I didn't hear it or read it or ignored it by accident.
Probably
That's the other thing. Well, there's so much happening with Star Citizen all the time, even when there's not much happening, if you know what I mean. There's always sly things on the forums that you might miss.
Yeah.
Or something the devs said.
Snuck in somewhere.
Yeah. Sorry, now you can talk about your weekly development update.
Weekly development update. Who wants to cover this? Twerk.
I got it.
You got this.
So, most of the weekly development update was kind of... Sorry, I'm trying to open it now.
One second. Are you drinking out of a jam jar, Saurus?
No.
It's called a mason jar.
It's a mason jar.
Oh, okay.
That's like pretty normal in America.
Is it?
Yeah. That's like nothing crazy. So basically the oh no. My mic just decided it was going to fall down. Basically most of it was like, okay, so we're having issues. We're not ready yet, right? So, gameplay and engineer, like I kind of just would scroll right down to
The bullet points.
the bullet point stuff, because that was actually more of the interesting things. So, performance optimizations, they've just been doing those left and right, and I think obviously with 1.3 we can tell. The big thing for me is they added support for notification rec awards to the UI, which we're obviously going to be using rec, so we're going to be rewarded what rec, so we're going to have to use it in some way.
Well, I think the support for notification of rec awards is the rec awards means things like ace combat or first kill and stuff like that.
Well, those are called combat. Yeah, you're not right, because they're called combat awards or something like that, and they would have just called them that, I feel like. I think rec awards we're going to get some sort of rec awarded for each mission.
Okay, I thought
is how I see it.
Okay.
And they needed some sort of thing to pop up on screen to represent that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was thinking it was the same as the combat awards, but it would give you rec for those awards.
Yeah, see, I looked at it completely different. I don't know.
But who knows, because it's a bullet point.
Exactly. It's just a bullet point.
Yeah.
Read more into it. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? We got lots of bug fixing and polish. So multi-crew ship screens, which I think we mentioned a little bit earlier as well, right? Moby-Glass mission manager. So maybe like a mission journal or something like that, right? Oh, and Moby-Glass journal, they said next as well. Added respawn countdown, so there's going to be maybe a similar system to what we have now or what they wanted to implement with, like, if you rammed somebody or you died with a certain percentage of your ship intact, that you would have an additional length of countdown before you were able to come back. A quantum travel HUD, which I don't think we've seen yet.
Nope.
Visual skinning of transport elevator console panel. So they
don't all look like they're from Revel in York.
Yes. Exactly. And then some more art. So they're working on the LODs, which is nice because I know the LODs that we're dealing with now are just like, I don't know how they're working on them, but you either don't see the ship or you see it in 1.3. Like, it's either invisible or it's like full LOD.
Okay.
Is what I'm seeing, and that just could be an issue that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a thing that I'm dealing with, which is, it's a thing.
It is a thing.
It's a thing.
You either see it or you don't.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it. Just not very often.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just mission manager live updating when you have it open. So as you complete a mission or complete a task in the mission, it'll pop up. Which I don't know if I said earlier. Lighting changes, optimization for the Retaliator, which I think we also mentioned a little bit earlier. What else? Animation stuff, which is like what we've been hearing since April. And then blocking issues, right? So this is some of the more interesting things. It's like, why isn't it out yet? And you got probe for quantum travel marker isn't working properly, so the player can't travel to the mission location. That's a pretty big blocker because it seems like the whole 2.0 is going to be about missions. If you can't travel there, that's a big problem, right? Missing space geometry due to the Excalibur, or whatever they're calling it, and whatever that's fixed. Missing
whatever.
Whatever. Why did they mention it if it's fixed? I don't know. Missing geometry for ArcCorp elevator due to Excalibur. Not fixed. Excludibur. Where am I turning a U into an A?
Excalibur.
I just keep seeing Excalibur.
Because you're it looks like Excalibur, but
it looks like Excalibur when you're reading
Excalibur
it.
must be their program.
Yeah, which is a silly name. But can they bug fix that name? That name is a blocker. Me reading. Server crash when spawning multi-crew ships. Big problem. Big problem. And this one bothers me a lot. And I won't go into it too much here, But general serviceability issues with 17 plus players in game, whatever. I mean, that's more than what we have now, so sort of expected. But vastly improved from just 2 players when they played 2 weeks ago.
Now, this is the thing, is they may have fixed that the day after, where they had 2 players, right? And they just included it in the monthly update because that's what they did. Or it could have been fixed the day before this monthly update went out, or the day of the monthly update going out. So it's kind of hard to see that. I know why you're upset about it, because it's like they're saying that it's imminent and it's ready and it's all this other
And
stuff.
2 weeks ago, it
like
was 2 people.
and it's 2
could
people.
play,
So, but that may have been
was it.
something they fixed right away, and they're like, "Yeah, we beat this right away," and that's why we've been saying it's
It's
imminent.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But it could also just be an issue with release builds. So as we've talked about before, profile builds, when they take the profile build, which could have been working perfectly, onto the release build, and they change whatever they need to change to make it into a release build, sometimes that goes, no, doesn't want to work. So it could be an issue with that. So
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, that's the thing. And then black screen hang on boot in release. So that's a release build one that they definitely mentioned.
Don't want the black screen to hang on, because then that's frustrating for players. And
No.
Whatever. We
And
do
then
have
they
a
had a
couple
sound
of
update.
videos. Yeah, we have a couple videos, and I'm gonna actually play them in their entirety.
Okay.
Because we have the time for this podcast, and I'm gonna have the sound here. So I'm gonna back away from my mic because it may.
I'm getting tea. I'll be right back.
He would. He would. He's actually doing that. All right. So let's go over to the video thing here, and we'll watch this together. So this is the ship flyby sound update.
I originally designed some flyby sounds for the ships about a year ago, and one of the programmers devised a system for triggering those. Recently I decided to spend some time improving what has the potential to be one of the most exciting sounds in a dogfight. First of all, I tested the original system to figure out any flaws in its original implementation. I discovered a discrepancy between what I had originally intended and what was actually happening. The on-screen diagram outlines what needed to change. One of the audio programmers, Mikhail, tracked down the issue and made a fix. The timing of the one-shot flyby sounds is now significantly improved. Here's a video showing an example of the flyby sounds by themselves.
Flyby sounds. Need both headphones on for this.
Oh, yeah.
One of the elements of the flyby sounds is a looped element. I decided to push this much further. I added 2 extra layers for the flyby looping sounds, which represent varying distances. I then modulated pitch, volume and other effects such as tremolo using real-time parameters sent from the game to our audio engine. Now, to show how these looped elements of the flyby sounds respond when the ships fly around and past the player, let's hear an example of what the loop flyby sounds contribute by itself. For the one-shot sounds, I added some longer and slightly more distant sounds that play, alongside the closer, more aggressive flybys that happen if you fly past within a tighter radius. Here is an example of those more distant one-shot sounds playing, as we do not fly as close to the enemy ship.
Pretty crazy.
Is it over?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Almost.
cool. Let me know because I'm on the delay.
Here are a few more examples of the flyby loop and one-shot sounds together by themselves without the rest of the sound effects. And here's some examples of the flyby sounds with the other sound effects playing as well.
So, that is a thing for sure. And I know a lot of people are going to complain that, oh, hey, there's no sound effects in space. Why does it sound like they're flying in atmosphere and stuff like that? And there's a couple reasons for that. The first one is that they are going to have all of these sounds are simulated in ship. They recognize that these ships are nearby and they're simulating the sounds. Number 2 is the rule of cool. It makes it more interesting and all that other stuff. And number 3 is, they've already mentioned this previously, that the sound, those kind of sounds, the internal sounds in your ship, if you want to go and play like you're really in space, you can turn those off. And that
if you're asked though, if you're literally asked, do you want sound or not in space? Who's going to say no? I know, actually, I prefer not to have sound.
Yeah.
You just turn off your speakers.
People just say that to troll. That's
Well,
really no one actually
option to
says
turn
it because
that
that's what they want.
And
I don't think anyone's ever said that because they want it that way.
What I'm excited to see is, as we get this ship damage stuff, because they've said this in the past as well. Who knows if it'll be implemented, but it kind of makes sense that as your ship takes damage, one of the first things to go would be your sounds, right? So you wouldn't hear sounds anymore, and then it's like you just hear the creaking of your ship and stuff like that.
Okay.
The other video we had was probably my favorite video of the weekly update, and this was the Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 ship UI update. And I'll actually explain what ships we're looking at UIs for here. So the first one we're going to see is an Avenger. It's cool that you can see all the panels, and you can see those 16 by 9.
I just love the zoom.
Screens.
Yeah. Very cool.
And it moves your focus around.
Yeah, and shout out to Zane for doing a shit ton of work on this. It's making it
Some of the CIG dudes are such awesome guys. Look how talented they are.
I like that your eyes are kind of pinned to the mouse movement as well.
Yes.
So even though you're focused, your eyes kind of still follow the mouse, so it feels not like it continues with the immersion.
all the immersion.
All that immersion, man. I love that they're so attentive to stuff like that, right?
To the different little details and things like that.
Like, who would have thought about that?
I know some people are upset that it's like about the sound stuff. Just going back to that real quickly.
Yeah, I think it's good to come back again, actually.
You also have to remember,
I think some people don't like the sound.
You don't have to. You'll be able to turn that off. That will be a separate option in the menu that you can turn off if you do not like it.
For me, it's important to have sounds in space just because it adds to my gameplay experience.
Awareness is important.
Yeah.
To me.
I mean, as someone said in the chat, what you don't want is overpowering sounds. You don't want stuff to be super loud because that's not going to aid you.
Yeah.
That's going to panic you. So for me, it's important that they've got those sounds there, even if it's not realistic, because it adds to my fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm sure we'll get those audio sliders and stuff like that as this becomes more fleshed out and all of that other stuff as well, right? Now, moving on from the weekly report, it's time for Cutlass Gate.
Dun dun. Actually, I've got a little song for it. Cutlass Gate.
Can we? I can't mute you. I can only hang up on you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me just open these up, and we'll take a look at these here together, as a
family,
as a whole family here. So let me just open these up, and I'll open them in the order that we have them linked here. I assume these are in the proper order. No.
No.
No. Not at all.
I was having trouble finding the last one, and that's why. They're not
Don't
in
you
the right order.
remember Twerk trying to show you with like
That's why.
charades?
Yeah, we were hand signaling saying they weren't in the right order.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
so let me take a look at. Okay, this one is not linked to anything.
Some are red herring links. You got to work them out. They're like sabotage links. You got to be quick.
So here's the
Source.
first. Okay, so here's the first one, and we'll go over here. And this is Ben posting in the Cutlass thread, saying, "While he's here, let me ask you guys a theoretical question." Now, the thing is, the Cutlass stuff was brought up on Reddit. This theoretical question was brought up on the forums. I know there was some confusion on the forums about where things were brought up first, but that's sort of what happened. The Cutlass stuff was first discussed on Reddit, and then he had came over to the forums and proposed this question that I'm going to ask here. So he says, and I quote, "While I'm here, let me ask you guys a theoretical question. How would you feel about replacing the Cutlass? That is, how mated are you to the current look of the ship? One thing John points out in his piece, as best as I can understand anyway, is that there are certain significant limitations to how we can place thrusters in the current design. So if everybody has a choice between the Cutlass Commerce Raider and, say, the Buccaneer Interceptor that's more maneuverable but has a smaller cargo hold, would that be a reasonable compromise? It's something we've talked about internally, so we know they've already talked about it already, and they may or may not be wanting to go towards that. And so I'd be interested to hear your thoughts of the mega thread. Please don't consider that a promise of the new ship. It's something we're just thinking about. It's theoretical and all that other fun stuff. One thing I write about in my bit is the original inspirations for the Cutlass, which may or may not explain why I'm looking at it differently than some folks. And this is important. And that's entirely inside my head, behind closed doors, so I wouldn't expect anyone to know. But hopefully it explains a bit. And I'm going to stop right there really quickly because before we talk about bringing in another ship, I think that sentence says quite more than it should. Or than maybe he meant it to, or I don't know. Because to me that says, okay, look, I have this idea that we've been holding behind closed doors and in my head, and we've been showing you something completely different this whole time, and we've decided not to share that with you. Because he goes on and says that the biggest inspiration for creating the Cutlass was the Galaxy Transport and Privateer. And if we stop again real quickly, if you go and look at the Freelancer on the original things, I don't have the image for it, but if you look at the original Freelancer specs and stats sheet and what it's based off of, the Freelancer is based off the Galaxy. And it says that, and that's from the original Kickstarter. So I don't know if lines got crossed or if maybe Ben didn't realize that was what the sort of Freelancer was coming from, and now we're looking at it as whatever, but that's sort of how he's been looking at the Cutlass. And what's really important is Ben is the one who originally designed the Cutlass. Okay?
Yeah.
So the whole reason there's all of this confusion in the first place is Ben is seeing it like one thing, and then other people are seeing it like others. So anyone, so specifically because of the emergent gameplay that happened was because of the Galaxy. They really liked that in Wing Commander or Freelancer or whatever it was. Anyone who wanted to be a pirate skipped the Centurion bounty hunter ship that was all around best at everything else, and instead went with Galaxy that had an extra placement for tractor beams, larger cargo hold, etc. So the Cutlass started the life as what if we build to that gameplay. And the thing is like I said, they sort of showed that with the Freelancer, and they did not advertise this ship like that. They didn't say this is similar to the Galaxy. They didn't say that this is basically a combat freighter. What it was sold as was a maneuvering fighting ship comparable, but obviously not as good as a Hornet, for example.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what's created all of this confusion is we're being told one thing and then being told another, and then there's more confusion because we're getting another thing, and and what we were told by Ben and by everybody else is that we should be buying ships based on the roles that are presented to us. And so that's what people are doing. And it's not like this is a starter ship that you can just go and trade for another starter ship. This is a very specific ship that a lot of people are looking at for piracy, or are looking at for other roles that they think that this ship would be good for, based on its intended roles, as it was sold as this militia fighter, as this as the super maneuverable thing that they showed in the Cutlass commercial, as you know, all of these things that they've said it was going to be, but sort of in Ben's head it's something different. And so for me, it's like, okay, we knew that the Cutlass was getting a rework about this time a year ago, right? Which we still haven't seen.
Yeah.
Why has it been so long before? Because none of these complaints or none of these things that have been brought up are new, right? It's the same things going on and on
Every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of the
so
time.
it's like
It's
clear
like,
that this
okay,
is what the
and-
community wants.
and people want this, and so I'm wondering why this hasn't been addressed sooner, because it's not like this is something. It's not a small thread. I think it. I don't know how many views or whatever it has.
It's almost 1,000 pages.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
it's
generating
957 pages.
this controversy themselves this time, because what they need to do is, I'm happy with the Cutlass
Yeah.
being a commerce raider. Yeah, they're more than welcome to go, well, sorry guys, yeah, we're turning it into this, but we're also going to bring out the Buccaneer Interceptor, which is the more maneuverable one.
Well, that's
Great.
what they're announcing now. I'm just saying that they should have done this.
Yeah. They
year
should have.
ago,
But
if that was
but
the
what they
issue.
need to do now is go, right, this is how it is going to be, and make it clear
Yeah.
the spirit of the ship.
Yeah.
Because as you clearly said, basically the spirit of the ship, its actual role, has become so convoluted and confused by a mixture of their propaganda videos, effectively, for their because
Yeah.
if the Cutlass is really unmaneuverable, that video that they produced is a work of great propaganda for the company that produced it, for Drake. Because it's like they're trying to sell it based on something that it's not. Which is kind of cool if they make that into law, but for us as actual buyers of that ship with real money, it's just a kick in the face.
Right.
So they just need to go, sorry that people have been offended, this is how the ship is going to be, this is its spirit, let's make that clear. They need to do that. For
Yeah.
now. Do it.
Right.
Wow.
And so the thing is there's a lot of flip-flopping, there's a lot of misinformation. They even go in some of the other posts to say that devs are saying different things, different people working on it are saying different things. People are promising some things, some people are promising other things, and so it's just adding to the overall confusion of the ship in general. And I like, it's nice that they're doing this now, but I think this should have been something that they focused on a long time ago. This isn't something that's new to them. It's not something that isn't brought up in every RTV ever. It is. Every RTV I've been in there, people are always asking about the Cutlass, wanting to know what's going on, and they always say, well, we don't have answers for you, we'll look into that in the near future. And they've said that continually over and over and over and over and over again. And now that, like, it's nice that they're finally doing it, but it's because they have this QA coming out, which still isn't out, which was supposed to be out, right? That they were blaming.
No,
that
I
they
think they
didn't
said
have,
this week, no?
They,
But whatever.
They were saying that they weren't being able to put out because of the pictures, right? And then after it apparently is already written, this is coming out. So it's like, well, we don't even know what the Cutlass is supposed to be now, so how do we know if we want a different ship? Right? Because of all of the confusion, we're waiting for the Cutlass Q&A to see what the Cutlass is all about.
It's a really good point.
So how can we say, yeah, okay, we need another ship, or this is going to do what it's going to do? From my standpoint, it sounds like they don't know what the hell is going on internally, and they're trying to backpedal their way out of it. I agree with Board Gamer. I think that this is what they should do. They need to take a firm ground on what the Cutlass is. They need to fix the graphic issues with the Cutlass, right? We all know it went to that third-party place, and they did a shit job on it. They need to redo that. And they need to solidify what the Cutlass's role is, what it is capable of. If any ship right now has any sort of rock your ground, it's this one. And for them to figure that out. And just tell us. Don't ask us what we want it to be or whatever. Then give us another ship, call it the Buccaneer or whatever the hell you want to call it. Give people who have bought the Cutlass the chance to CCU to that for free, whether it's the same price or not, right? It's free to CCU to that. Put one as your freighter fighter thing, and put one as the super maneuverable light on cargo fighter ship that was promised to us. That I know I bought the Cutlass on, and I bought the concepts under those premises. Right, I've held on to them because I'm waiting to see what they're doing with the Cutlass. But it sounds like they don't even know what they're doing with the Cutlass still. Right, like why would they come to us before the Q&A is out, before we've seen the reworks? Before saying, hey guys, the rework's almost ready, let us do this. We know it's been bounced around to like 30 different studios, right? I mean, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but we do know it's gone from outsourcing to LA to Foundry 42 to outsourcing back to LA. Like, it's all over the place. So it's something, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Drake. I really like my Drake ships. I really want to be able to use this. If it's going to be a freighter, so be it. Just let us know. Let us know that the other ship is coming. Get that work out to us as soon as possible, so then we can switch over to that and give us peace of mind on that. But until that happens, what's going to happen is it's just going to be more confusion. It's going to be more who knows what's going on. And these posts have now invalidated anything that happens with the Cutlass Q&A, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Right? Like, I don't know what you guys think of it. I don't know what your guys' opinions are on this, but for me, that's how I'm looking at it. I have the Cutlass Red. I have a Cutlass Blue. I'll be getting rid of the red only because of the module system. I know that we'll be able to do some modularity. I will keep the Cutlass Blue, whether it becomes a freighter or not. But I think it's important for a lot of people to know what that role for that ship is, so they can have the ship that they want.
The Cutlass has always been basically a commerce raider. It's going to be a ship that its manpower makes its power. So you can go, well, I'm going to board your ship because I've got 3 or 4 people on my ship, and I know you've only got 2. I win.
Right. The thing is, that's not exactly how it was sold.
No, you're right. That video showed it being super maneuverable. People thought it was going to be a glass cannon fighter as well. They thought it was going to be incredibly powerful, really agile, even for its size, but also
they also did not expect the amount of cargo that it can carry now. They didn't want that. If you look at, I'm gonna see if I can find an original picture of the Cutlass concept.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll kind of give my opinion on the situation a little bit, and it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be about the ship at all.
Okay.
While open development is really awesome, this is when open development really sucks, right? Because this is when you take a ship that people like, that people were really passionate about, even from the very beginning, right? Always passionate about this ship, and change it, and everybody gets super upset. And like they felt they needed to change it, or for whatever reason, I don't need to know the reasons they chose to change it. For whatever reasons they did, it's not that anymore, and it's gonna really hurt. Like it's almost never gonna. It's never going to make people happy, right?
Yeah.
Like when changes happen, somebody's going to be upset. Now, in this situation, maybe 50% of the people are upset because there was the people that bought it when they said it was a dogfighter, and then there was people that bought it when they said it was not quite as much of a dogfighter, right? So, yeah, it's just like, wow, this is. I'm like seeing like, wow, this is kind of when. Man, I wish we weren't as open sometimes.
But asking people what they want,
or be more open, maybe like that's what's
asking people what they want from the Cutlass is really hard to ask people that because
people
they
have different opinions.
Well, yeah, some people have bought it, some people have it, some people have different opinions, but also no one's sure how it's actually going to work in system yet. We don't have enough of an idea of
we don't have the systems, yeah.
Yeah, so all we've got is Arena Commander at the moment where people that have a Cutlass want it to be better.
Yeah,
and
same with every ship.
Going from a purely design aesthetic, it is the most different from the concept art that we've seen before. And I don't know if you guys know this. I'm going to show you some pictures here. If we go here, so
Bring
this is the Cutlass. Oh, OBS crashed apparently, but I'm going to continue doing this as long as we're not frozen. We should be good. I may just have to stay on this screen. We will see.
I'll tell you if.
Yep. No, we're gonna have to stay on this screen. So this is what we are doing, but that's okay. So we have.
Because that's how we're ending anyway. So
yeah.
we're good.
Well,
all good.
we'll have questions and stuff too, which reminds me, if you guys have questions, exclamation point question in chat. You can see how far this sticks out. You know that there's the giant cathedral ceilings in there. There's a lot of wasted space behind the Rio seats to the area in the back. We know that the variants, especially the blue, have been butchered on the inside. Like, nothing is proper how it's supposed to be, right? It looks like it was a rush model. It didn't look like it was done very well. It was not done in-house by CIG. And I'm going to show you, this is what the actual concept art looked like, right? You can see that the front end is tucked in a lot closer to the front winglets. The winglets are a little bit thicker. The winglets also are as wide at the
I love the way this one looked.
This one looks amazing, right? And this is what sold me on the Cutlass. And you see in the back you have the nacelles with the little skull thing with the white and black. And I mean, that's a different skin, but you know, you see that it's the same width right in front. You also notice that the hull isn't very wide, right? You see this giant gun up top. It's not very wide hull. So when you look at this, and then you look at this, right? And this is kind of hard to see, but this is almost twice as wide. The thrusters in the back are wider than they are in the front. The hull is, or the cockpit in the front is just ugly as sin. Like, this just looks so much better. If they could just go back and make this, that's what people want, right? They want it to be a little bit more maneuverable. They want it to be lighter. They don't want it to hold as much cargo. And we're talking about
just design.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the way it looks, too.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, and before people say, oh, well, that's concept work and stuff changes from concept, this is the biggest change from concept to actual in-game design of all the ships that we've ever received, ever. So I think it's just incompetence on the people who made it.
The Cutlass is on to an odd one as well, because it's got the stealth variant, then an ambulance, and then a super fighter.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's an odd mix, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And once again, Ben stated that those variants will stay the same. So I don't understand how they can make this into a freighter and keep a police and a search and rescue variant. Things that both need to be fast, maneuverable, get to where they need to be. It's just all in all, it's still confusing, like even with the clarity and stuff like that. So it would be nice, like I said, if they just go in and say, look, this is how it is, this is what we're doing.
Hopefully they will with the post.
The post, and hopefully we will with the post. That's right.
Let's hope.
But yeah, once
Shots
again,
fired.
if anybody has any questions about this, definitely feel free to ask those to us. Exclamation point question in chat. I think that's pretty much it for the Cutlass Gate. I don't know if we want to talk about that anymore. Until then, you guys are going to see this beautiful background logo. Actually, let's see if I can find. I'll put in some Star Citizen playthrough or something. Let's go to Board Gamers channel.
No.
But while we're doing that, does somebody want to do me a favor and start
I am
reading the
bringing questions up right now as we speak. So give me 1 second, because I wasn't ready for us to end just then, because Cutlass.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just. Okay. So, first question is from Viking VR, and that's to all of us.
Okay.
And it's the concierge card. Right. What benefits do you receive if you buy it?
Okay. Well, first off, you get a metal card to put in your wallet, so you can be really cool
sweet
among
card.
all your friends. Second,
show all your friends in real life that you've spent $1,000 on a video game.
It is
at least $1,000.
At least, yeah.
It'll be your ticket into little pop-up events and things like that. Little things like Bar Citizens and things like that that maybe they want to do for Patreon, or not patrons or subscribers, for concierge members.
Yeah,
what
like
those
at
are going to
events.
be, we don't really know. No, because it says pop-up events, especially. It doesn't say the big events. So
Well, at big events, they had like they want to do like concierge.
They want to. They
Buy
didn't
They
do it
want
at
to,
Citizen. They
but-
didn't do it at CitizenCon though.
and
Yeah.
So we
they
don't.
also show right on your ticket whether you are or not. So this
Now you have
sounds
a
like
cool
it's for
card.
something. Yeah, but now it seems like this is something different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
A sweet card.
Yeah, you definitely get a sweet card. I mean, it's if you're one of those people that are collecting physical merchandise and you think that you're in the area of any of the Star Citizen events, whether it be over in the UK or over down in Austin or by LA, then it's good for that. I think for me, I mean I picked one up. I live in Canada. I don't particularly live close to anything, but you know, it's something cool for me to have. I don't have any of the other cards, so I might as well get the Baller Concierge card.
Yeah, I mean, how about you donated $10 to the development of the game? That's a benefit.
Well, no, that's not what it is, and I'm going to correct you on that right now. That is for the production and the shipping of it only. They do not make any money off of that whatsoever.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go towards anything. It goes towards that
lame.
card itself and getting it to you. So,
Lame.
yep. So, stop spreading misinformation, man.
Sorry.
Good. Don't
It's
let it happen
possible in the future they might say people that are concierge with the concierge cards, you can get into this event early or something, but that has not been announced. And
Yeah.
so
And they're
anything that's
and
been
I
announced
think
is
they're
the
really
pop-up events.
focused on giving concierge subscribers.
something
They're
really
they're trying to do more for those without like giving you in-game benefits, but they're trying to do more for those people. I think they're realizing that maybe they haven't done quite enough. Although I'm satisfied, but I do hear people complain from time to time. The next question, I will wait actually because Source walked away for a second. Let me see if I can pick one in between here that you and I can work with. Here's one. No, that's maybe this one is relevant, but it's from NK Sharp, so I have no idea. It's to Board Gamer. Have you ever met Carl Pilkington?
No, I've not met Carl Pilkington, but I'd love to.
Do you know who that
So-
is? Can you explain?
Yeah. Do you know Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
Do you know his
His stupid friend?
his stupid friend? Yeah.
That's Carl
Pilkington.
Pilkington. Okay.
And I wouldn't say that Carl Pilkington's stupid. I'd just say
No, but
he
that's
has
the name of the show, right?
Yeah. So he just has a totally different outlook on stuff, which makes him appear extra stupid.
The idiot
I've
of
got
Rob.
I've got my mate Mark, who's very similar to that kind of.
I
He's
just
really
assume all British
intelligent.
people are the same as Carl Pilkington. They're wise, but they're not very smart. No intelligence.
His-
Wise, wisdom.
His homespun.
It's-
His homespun wisdom though is hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard it explained as if he was an RPG character, all of his points have been put into wisdom and none into intelligence.
Shit.
And
No
it's hilarious
agility, no
because he has a
intelligence,
head like
yeah.
a fucking orange.
Okay,
Whoa,
can
whoa.
I take a moment for a second and talk about this Facebook post that I saw today? Speaking of like attribute points and things like that, has anyone seen this? I mean, it was like I don't know if it's real or not, but basically, Madden '97, the player who is rated the worst out of any player in the entire league, writes a message to EA and completely rages that his score, like his overall rating was like bullshit and why. And he's like, and one of the things that he said was, so my awareness rating is 52. So that means I get out of bed just barely, I'm so unaware that I don't even know that I'm shitting myself, brushing my teeth with a rock, and like all this, like it was one of the funniest things ever. I don't have the link to it. I don't browse Facebook on my computer. It's just on my phone. But I mean, it's one of the funniest things ever. If you guys really want to, you can move on, ask a question. I'll go behind me and grab my phone and read some of it. But it's one of the funniest. I don't laugh out loud that often when reading things. I was tearing. Some of the stuff was so good. But
I've heard about that post before as well. Yeah.
yes. So the question that I wanted to go to while Soros walked away, because it was really for us, is Puppy Fur. And he asked, what do you guys look forward most to in Star Citizen? Mining, dogfighting, racing, etc.
We get this quite regularly.
Yep.
It does occasionally change though, I suppose.
Does it?
It does.
Well, yeah, because
I'll
we're
let you
hyped
go
about
first,
different
Bart.
things. So it's still mining for me. Still a mining on my Orion. Because I just like the idea of chilling out, mining, doing some mining mini games, organising people while I'm doing something else on my second screen. It's boom, making them creds.
Yeah.
Soros, I guess, how about this? What's the first thing that you want to do? Because I think a lot of us want to do everything, but what's the first thing?
Exploration.
Exploration. So you want to put your name on something?
I mean, are you talking 2.0 or are you talking about the PU?
I think we're talking about he's asking what do you look forward to most in Star Citizen. So let's say the end game.
Okay. Like owning a space station and players.
Owning players.
Well, there's slavery in the game, right?
Well,
Oh my god.
It might not be,
They may be NPCs, but they start out as players.
or it
You're a
may just
monster.
be a commodity.
Maybe. Well, then.
That's
I want people.
yeah, like slaves were always a commodity in
Yeah, but okay,
privateer,
so I just
so it
want
might
to
stay
be
that way.
whatever makes me the most money, really, in the game. So if that's taking other people's shit, that's taking other people's shit. If that's mining, then I'll be doing exploring. If
How about this?
it's
What do you think the most fun game mechanic might be? I've heard people ask this question to you, and it's like pulling teeth sometimes. So I'm trying. What excites you the most?
just multi-crew.
I'm interested in this
exploration,
actually, which is why I'm
probably.
asking so
That's
many
probably
times.
why I keep relying on that, because I like the
Yeah.
idea of just chilling in a ship and just hanging out with people and doing other random shit. Like I'm hoping they have like in-game little
Yeah.
TVs and stuff like that. And finding new systems that we can put our name on, or finding space stations
Okay.
that we can sort of take over, or finding an area that's a high trade route where we can set up to ambush people and stuff like that. That's kind of stuff is still fun to me.
Okay.
But the more fun stuff will be the receiving of things.
Yeah. I think what excites
For
me the most, or
acquisition.
what I'm looking forward to the most, is obviously mining. And like Bort had already mentioned that. Now, Bort, I with this question, are we going to be competing miners? Or are we going to do this together?
What do you mean? Why wouldn't we do it together? What's more beneficial? No, I'm very
More
very,
beneficial to me is me grabbing all the ore and kicking your ass out of there.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
when we're
that's
both
those
online,
fighting words from Twerk.
No, I'm
It's a
just
good thing
kidding.
boards
When we're-
and overdrive.
when we're both online,
But
shut
I
up,
have an
shut up,
Orion.
Saurus.
You have an Orion. Are we
Um,
going to fit around the same little rock?
well, we might as well well, it depends. If we're farming one little rock, if I find a little rock and there's only room for one, I'm not going to share that data with you
You
unless
son
I'm
of a-
going
you-
offline.
That's so rude.
But if there's a large area that we can do, or there's definitely
We'll
potential
clear it out
for us to
together.
explore, yeah, why not? I mean, we'll be sensible about it. We're not go, oh, Twerk, I found this tiny little asteroid that's going to make me a load of cash. You want to come and steal some of my cash? Nah. It's
I'll
going
do
to
that,
be
though.
very much my asteroid. Yeah, or I'll say, yeah, Twerk, go have a look at this asteroid. Saurus, he's looking at the asteroid. Lol, lol, lol. And then Overdrive
Yeah,
just
you do
come
all the
along
work.
and go, hey,
And it's
Twerk.
just filled with salt, the asteroid, and has nothing worthy in it.
No,
No, but
Orion's
yeah.
worth a bit.
No, but I definitely want to... No, I don't just want to mine. I think actually what I look forward to the most in Star Citizen is multi-crew aspects of anything and doing them with you, Board, with you, Saurus, with any of the viewers. I think that's actually what I look forward to the most.
For me, what
Um,
excites me is doing that kind of mining, but making
Yeah.
it more and more efficient. Getting like 10 Orions to an asteroid belt with a couple of Idris, and they're dropping off their resources back at Idris or something.
Yep.
Or whatever. I love that idea. I love the synergy and the efficiency of a big scale mining operational industry operation.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I'm scared.
that's awesome.
I'm scared. I'm gonna have my own kind of Cutlass moment where they were like, okay, this is the final cargo system. It was SCUs, right? This is it. So I was like, okay, Orion has this many SCUs, Hull D has this many SCUs, and they're very comparable. And I was like, to be the most efficient in my mind is to fill my Orion and then take those things and put them on the Hull D and then be gone. And I was like, I like got that size. Like I would have gotten the E, but what's the point of getting the E if the biggest, the thing that I want to do the most, they can work together, So I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Excited about it.
Let's take a look at maybe 5 more questions. I don't know how many left we have, but we're already at 3 o'clock. Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yeah. Let's pick out some good ones. Tangent asks, what type of missions will be in 2.0?
Probably piracy. Probably bringing some stuff like piracy, as in you have to go kill pirates, not you have to be a pirate. Probably something like go retrieve this. There better not be any fucking escort missions. Yeah, that's about it. There might be though. There might be an escort mission. But
it's certainly going to be go explore this area, find out why this lays offline. You will have to press a button.
You might have to fight somebody or whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely be lots of different types of fighting. Because there's ground combat, obviously.
There may be a take this from point A to point B or whatever.
And then we got Programmer Sam. I really want to know how the Vandal attacks are going to take place. We see them on the star map, but are they going to be ground attacks or space or both? I mean, obviously space. But I really wonder. I mean, that's a really good question.
We know when there's going to be Vandal attacks and news that we will be able to have some form of influence on breaking news. So if we're in that system or we're nearby, we will be able to participate in like an event. Or something will be happening, most probably, unless it's old news, if you see what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we're going to get lots of Vandal ground combat as well.
Yeah.
Because that's something I haven't really thought about before until Sam brought that up today.
But it has to be.
Well, this is the thing.
Because what's the point of having FPS?
We know that they're on the derelict ships and stuff like that. We're going to have them scurrying around and being all creepy.
We know it's going to happen. We haven't really thought about it too much because we haven't seen much of it. So, I mean, are the Vandal going to have like laser spears or things like that? Because they're quite tribal looking. So, are they going to run up to me and stab me with a fucking sword or a spear? That's going to be awful. That's going to be terrifying.
Yeah, I mean,
they're jumping around
with big events like the Vandal attacks, which is what he's kind of referencing. You have to.
Is that
you
city
have to assume that they're like it might be swarmed by Vandal on foot too.
Yeah,
and I wonder if they've thought about that. I don't know, but I think that would make for just. I know we're going to have FPS ability on planet side. Why wouldn't they bring that? But at the same time, they don't have any NPC FPS capabilities as far as we know at the moment, right? So they may not be thinking about it at all. Because it's not like we're going to be fighting against like CSGO bots. In Star Marine.
But in Squadron 42, there's definitely going to be the Vandal boarding. It's definitely going to be Vandal boarding your ship.
Okay.
So
at the moment, we
maybe not
in
the first implementations of 2.0, but it will be coming down.
Oh, not in 2.0.
Yeah. We're not.
Way later.
It'll 100% it'll be in the game.
Yeah, it's just I haven't really thought about it properly yet, and I think it's something we need to start thinking about because it's an important part of the game.
We'll see all the alien races, whether we fight them or not. We will see them all on foot as well.
Yeah,
whether it be
like
on their ships or on a landing zone or a planet or a space station or whatever.
It's interesting to see how it's going to play out, though. That's...
Magnetron GW2. Would it be nice if they would add different licenses for mining, so there's a sense of progression, or different ships for different types of mines? Maybe different, like if that was the case, maybe different licenses for different types of ships.
I think different licenses for different types of, like different types of ships or different types of jobs. Would be kind of cool.
Yeah, so
they could even implement that as like a built-in tutorial type thing where you go into your license and it sort of tells you how to do it, right? Just like how
there's definitely going to be a rep system though, isn't there? So I mean, they could tie into that as well.
Do we want to answer any more Cutlass? I kind of saved
Okay.
those to like kind of put them together. If CIG did create the Buccaneer to be a proper maneuverable Drake fighter, would you bother buying the Cutlass at all, or would you skip and recommend go for something like Freelancer Caterpillar instead?
I would.
That's from Sunday of Doom.
I would recommend whatever it is that you want to do, as long as we know what the clear, cut and dry roles of that are. If it matches the role of what you want to do, then I would suggest buying it. If it doesn't match the role of what you want to do, then I would suggest not buying it. For myself, I have a thing where I'm just going to own all the Drake ships. So I'll keep mine still. But I will also pick up a Buccaneer, and maybe the Buccaneer would become my main one. I still think the Caterpillar is going to be my main ship. So
Yeah, so I agree with Saurus on that. The Caterpillar, for me, really does piracy. As long as you've got the manpower to fill it, so you can actually board ships and get the most potential out of ships that you're attacking, I think a Caterpillar is going to be a great choice for piracy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I still think the Cutlass will go really well with the Caterpillar to disable a ship and then
the
board
Buccaneer
it.
might do better.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't even want to
Because-
mention
because
like,
this is the
this
thing.
theoretical ship.
Well, the thing is if they were to remake this ship to do this fighter thing, it would still have the boarding capabilities. It would just have less cargo and more of the fighter stuff.
And
That's
less
basically-
less modularity than Caterpillar or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Caterpillar's
less
like
than the
super
Caterpillar, yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth waiting for release or at least beta before playing Squadron 42 from Bite Marks?
Squadron 42.
We won't see Squadron 42 until it's ready. That's the whole point of
That-
Star Citizen. We get
No,
to
that's
test all
not the question.
systems.
He means, do you think it's worth waiting for the release of Star Citizen, like the persistent universe, before playing Squadron 42? Because we're going to get Squadron 42 before we
Personally,
get.
no.
Yeah.
No. I want to start to get into the universe. I want to start to get into the lore. By the time
Me too.
Squadron 42 is out, we should be seeing a lot more of Star Citizen as well. So we can start to feel like we're already playing the game anyways, even though it will be in the end of the alpha or early beta or whatever stage it's at that point. Also, the fact that as content creators, this isn't going to be something we're going to wait to do. Personally, that's how we're going to play it as soon as it's available to play.
Of course.
But yeah, I think that if you're, I don't see what the benefit would be, because they're two separate things. It's like something like, think of it as a pre-log up into Star Citizen. So we could have played it a year ago while we're still waiting for Star Citizen.
Will
I
you
don't
get your
think it really
citizenship or whatever by playing Squadron 42?
Yes.
Yes,
When
You know?
completing the
That's
campaign will get you.
one
So I
way
think
of
that's why
doing
he's
it.
asking.
that's one way of doing it.
Personally, for me, Squadron 42 is like going to be a story that I'd like to follow, but it doesn't matter when I start following it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, as soon as Squadron 42 comes out, I want to follow the story. But Star Citizen is a story that I want to follow too. The development process has been a story. So as soon as anything comes out, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Right? That's just how I'm going to roll with it.
For me, Squadron 42 is very much sort of like a tutorial and an introduction to Star Citizen for the actual multiplayer experience for me. So it gets you your citizenship and whatever else it gives you, but also it just teaches you about that universe and gets you prepared to actually fight. And for me, that's really important, so that everyone's at a similar level of starting skill. So yeah, I'd say get onto the bandwagon as soon as you can.
Oh, I totally forgot. Twerk, pineapple.
Yeah. I don't remember what Pineapple was about.
See? So it's pointless. I'll tell you after.
Okay. I completely forgot. I remember that Pineapple was a code word for something, and I don't remember what it's for.
This is Twerk telling me to remind him about something.
Yes.
And now he doesn't remember. I mean, it's too late anyways.
Okay.
I noticed a long time ago, but it doesn't matter. Anyways.
Okay. Two more quick ones. Is the Cutlass Black next to unfixable and or in no way able to fulfill its intended role? Why else would you think about a replacement ship, even just in theory?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they've said. They said
Yeah.
that it cannot be the maneuverable ship they want to make, and therefore it does not fit the role of what the original purchasers picked it up as. So that's why they're contemplating this idea. I think that's what they're going to end up doing. I don't think there's any other way around it. I think that's why I said they should just say what this is, what the Buccaneer is going to be, build the Buccaneer concept, get that out to us as soon as possible, and go from there.
And then I guess the last one is somebody said something really nice, so I figured we just kind of want to mention that because it feels really good when people do stuff like this. So just wanted to say, this is from Hansy Harris, and he said, just wanted to say massive thank you for all the time you guys put into the community. Redacted is my highlight of the week. Hands down, you guys are the most fun, informative content providers on the internet. Thank you all. So I appreciate that very much, and I think that's a good one.
You don't
to,
need other
to end
YouTubers
on.
or content providers. Just
us.
me.
Just us.
No,
three.
no. Whoa. Just me.
Poor Gamer has now officially been fired from Redacted.
No, don't be like that, Saurus.
Yeah.
Don't be that
Board
guy.
Gamer status
Come on.
is now redacted. Unredacted.
Yep. But no, that does mean a lot. We do put a lot of work into both the podcast and everything else as well. I mean, I know I spend all of my waking hours on that stuff.
Yeah.
So it does mean a lot when you guys say things like that. So very much appreciated.
Yep.
And with that, let's talk about what we have coming up this week. So, Twerk17, what do you have coming up over the next week here?
I really wanted to finish Anno, but it seems like it's going to be a lot longer, so I don't know if I'm going to play Anno
I thought
on
you
stream.
just had to get to the moon. I thought that was the point of the game.
Me too. And it's like,
Build stuff on the moon, man.
yeah, you build stuff on the moon, and it's really expensive, so then you
Is it
have to
like
like be much
SimCity?
more organized.
Where there's really no end game.
No, I believe there's an end game, and I think it's owning all the areas.
Okay.
I think, and then defeating at some point. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll like look it up on
there
the
a
internet
boss?
what the ending is, but I don't want to
Is
be
there an
spoiled
boss?
either.
Is there a King Goomba at the end that you have to stop?
Maybe, but people said they beat it in the chat a few times, and I'm like, I don't know what they mean. So, but whatever.
Might be trolling you.
Yeah, so like the streams have been like a lot slower with Anno and a bit like quieter, and I don't really like enjoy those kind of streams. So I might just play it for like a couple hours on Mondays until we kind of finish it up. But I definitely want to focus a lot more on Star Citizen. I think it's a good idea, like as things are getting closer to 2.0, is to be more focused on Star Citizen, because I know we're going to get the drops of the PTU based on how much we play and so on. So definitely going to be playing a lot of Star Citizen and just waiting for anniversary sale and exciting stuff, right? Anniversary live stream more than the anniversary sale, personally, because I
Which
don't think
we
I'll be
should-
picking up anything.
I'll probably mention that is on the 19th. That is going to be at 11 a.m. PST. And
That's a Thursday.
I will be doing a stream thing for it, I think. I don't know if you guys wanna
11
join,
p.m.
we can do-
PST is...
Yeah.
11 a.m. PST is early, right?
Yeah.
No, I'll be at work, so
Yes.
maybe I could take
7
the day
PM
off.
for me. I'll definitely come and join you, Saurus, even if it's in your chat, however you want me.
Yeah, no, we'll probably
because
do
it's gonna be awesome.
an episode of Redacted or something like that for it.
Yeah.
A special episode.
3 hours long, man. 3 hours long. But,
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'll try and switch with somebody. Actually, I'll ask them this week.
that'd be cool, man.
'Cause my dealing days are once.
My
They're
dealer,
just on
This
Thursdays.
guy, tell me.
The whole month I'm
Anyways.
just dealing one day a week, so it doesn't matter.
And
What day
anything
it is?
else you're working on? Any giveaways? Any big events?
Nothing crazy. We're like I've been saying, is we're kind of waiting for the anniversary sale to see what goes on sale to kind of decide what we're going to give away. So at the moment, we're just kind of throwing little things out there. Which reminds me, I got to give IDD a ship, and I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah.
I gave away like a Merlin, so I'm like giving away like Merlins and $10 gift cards, and keeping things tiny until we see what they're giving away. So
Right on.
no.
Board Gamer, what do you have coming up this week?
So I'm actually away this weekend. So there's going to be possibly less videos from me. I'm going to try and still get them up.
No.
It's to do with time permitting. I can steal my friend's computer to try and do my news on Sunday. I will be back on Sunday, so I'll try and get everything done. But there might be slightly less videos this week. We'll have to see. I've got lots planned for content providers, for redacted people. So I'm going to be doing lots of collaborations, playing lots of Star Citizen, get some of that as gameplay footage, but also we're going to be trying to do like maneuvers and some interesting videos in space. When I'm away for my weekend, I'm recording Until Dawn, the slasher
Oh, nice.
film thing, with 8 other people. and we're
Damn.
taking
Whoa.
on the chapters each, and then we're going to be interviewing the people, chatting to them after they've made their decisions. We're not going to influence their decision until after they've made them. Then we're going to talk about them.
That's
So,
that's a cool idea.
yeah, so and
That's
we're all going
console
to be
game,
very,
right?
very drunk. Yes, it's a PS4 game.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Not cool. I take it back.
Take it all back.
I apologise.
I'm just kidding.
Fired for a second
yeah.
time.
I'll be doing lots of Star Citizen stuff. I might get a review up on StarCraft 2, the latest one, but it's going to be really fanboy because I really love the game. So maybe I won't do that. I like reviews to be a bit more balanced. I like reviews to try and convince me to not buy a game. That's what I want them to do, because I don't want to spend money if I don't have to. So I want them to focus on the bad. I know that makes me sound mad, but it's true.
I want my reviews to make people hate Star Citizen.
No, I can't review Star
That's
Citizen.
all I
love
heard.
it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all. I've got lots of Theorycraft and stuff coming up, but mainly waiting for 2.0. But until then, we'll fill the void by inane chatter and Theorycrafting.
That's right.
Woo!
I think I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be filling the void here during my normal stream hours of 1 to 6 with Star Citizen and some Race the Sun, because Race the Sun soothes me while I get frustrated by the broken build that is 1.3.
That's what like Anno was for me.
Um,
It's like soothing.
So we're just sort of waiting for that stuff. I'm also going to start a Fallout 4 playthrough starting tonight at midnight. And we're going
Nice.
to bring back the midnight stream for Fallout 4.
Woo!
So I have that all installed and ready to go. I have an event that I'm hosting on Sunday, a Vancouver Twitch meetup. I'm doing the first quarter, or first third, or whatever, I don't know. I'll be interviewing some devs, interviewing some live streamers and stuff like that. And that'll be on the EXP channel, and we'll host that here from my channel. So you'll be able to check that out. We go to like this local gaming bar. It's really cool. And there's like 100 people there. Twitch staff come down, other partnered streamers, other unpartnered streamers, fans and stuff like that. So if you're in the Vancouver area and you'd like to come to that, that's going to be at EXP starting at 5 o'clock p.m. PST, downtown Vancouver. Yeah, so
Nice.
I have that coming up. Just waiting for 2.0. Like I said, it literally, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week. So the sooner the better. I've noticed a lot of people are sort of distracted by Fallout and stuff like that. So I figured I would also jump on that train, but not affect my Star Citizen stream. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. Where can people find you guys?
I'll start, I guess. Obviously, twitch.tv/twerk17, at twerk17 gaming on Twitter and YouTube. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Board Gamer?
Pretty much all social media and everything is Board Gamer UK for me.
Yep.
Mainly on my Twitch, but you can obviously find us all on the Redacted website as well.
Me too.
And
Oh, yeah.
I actively want people to go there if they can, because I post all my articles and all my videos now there as readable articles as well. And one other important thing that I want to talk about very briefly about before Saurus tells us what he's doing is that Redacted now have their own Patreon. So this is for the podcast and the combined Redacted group, and any money that Patreon makes goes directly back into funding Redacted, getting free stuff for the content providers, making the Redacted brand, website, and all that sort of jazz better.
Giveaways, all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, and so none of that money is going to be used for us at all.
Running
It's
the
literally-
website.
It's literally just for Redacted, so that all the content providers can benefit. So if people want to get involved with that, they're more than welcome. As with all things Patreon, only if you've got the money spare. We don't need your money, but obviously every little helps.
And let me put that in chat, just in case people are interested. It's Redacted TV. Like that.
Yes, indeed.
There it is right there. And for myself, working on the website, which the forum side of things is pretty much done. I'm looking at doing the front end thing. We have a lot of really cool
wait.
stuff
I'm
coming
so
on
pumped for that.
So getting that already, we should have it done fairly shortly. Then once I'm done that, I can start organizing some more events to do with other streamers and stuff. I know a lot of our times overlap. So I want to do some cool stuff with some of the other streamers, especially as 2.0 comes out, which is hopefully soon. Knock on wood. Going to be playing, like I said, Fallout 4 and stuff. But you guys can follow me here on twitch.tv. You're on my channel right now, but if you're watching this on YouTube, /WTFosaurus, I'm at WTFosaurus on Twitter as well. And obviously, I frequent both the forums and the Discord, which everybody is more than welcome to join at redacted.tv.